Hey Corey,
Hey,
how are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. What's been going on since I last saw you?
Not much. Just still in a relationship with Joey.
Yeah.
Recently he said to me that he wants to move in with me.
Okay.
So
Are you excited about that, or how you feeling about that?
it's exciting. I think I'm a bit unsure about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel a bit uneasy. Just because my community is a lot of stigma.
Okay.
A lot of people who don't realise I'm gay and that I know, and I don't know how they would react
Right.
if they knew I was gay, and some elderly people that they would not like me anymore.
Okay.
Makes me a bit nervous.
Yeah. So you're feeling a little bit like there's some stigma in your community, and they might not like you anymore if you tell them that you're gay. Some elderly people, and you're not sure how that would go.
Yeah.
Telling them.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Or if they found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure how I'd fit in the community, and I'd want to belong still.
Yeah, okay.
But I'd be scared
Yeah.
that I wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's your community? Is that the people in your neighbourhood, or is that your?
Yeah,
Yeah.
people in my neighbourhood,
Okay.
and the people I interact with.
Yeah.
Around the area and around work as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And is that affecting you, feeling like you don't want to move in with Joey because of you're worried that people will find out that you're gay?
I think it's definitely holding me back when I consider it. And it's just, it's worrying.
Yeah, okay, yep. So you're feeling like a little bit unsure about, Joey's asked you to move in, that you're feeling a little bit unsure about that decision because you feel like that will show other people that you're in a relationship with Joey.
Yeah, I just feel like I won't fit in the same way.
Okay.
In the community, because they know me as something else.
Okay, yeah. What do they know you as at the moment? They're not really aware that you're...
No, they're not aware. I just, they just know me as Corey. So the teacher, they don't really know anything, and I feel like if they find out this, maybe they won't like that as much, or so maybe a bit of stigma around.
Yeah. And has there been things that they've said before, or?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I think I'm just maybe preempting how they would react. And
it can be really unsettling when you don't know how people will react, and it's very understandable that you're worried about people finding out, because it is, we worry about what people will act like when we don't know. And is your work aware of you being in a relationship?
Some people that I talk to are, but most of my colleagues aren't.
Okay.
So that would be another concern. Be that I feel like I would have to be open, especially if I was moving in with Joey, and I don't know how the principal might react to that. Maybe he might terminate my employment or something. I'm not sure. But
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's some pretty big fears around your job security and your place in the community, and where you sort of feel like you fit in the community, and you're worried that will be changed and affected if you were to come out as gay and move in with Joey. You've been with Joey for a long time, haven't you? Yeah.
Quite a few years.
Yeah, but it's just sort of, you feel like it's sort of just coming now because he's asking you to move in with him, and that will potentially expose your relationship a little bit more. I
think we both want to move forward, but this is just, it's a lot for me.
Yeah, so you both want to move forward, and that's a really great thing to identify as well, is that you're in that place of wanting to move forward. And that I'm definitely so happy to chat with you through that decision, and it sounds like you've got a fair bit going on in your head around the decision, and so I would love to just sit with you and chat with you around that today, if that's what you're happy to do. Awesome. So I will just run you through, I do have a sort of a different type of theory that sometimes is really helpful to look at just for making decisions, it is a little bit different, but it's based around Gestalt therapy. Have you heard of Gestalt therapy at all? Okay, so I've got a little bit of information here to give you about it. We're going to be working through something particularly today inside of the Gestalt therapy called the Gestalt awareness cycle. And so I'll explain that in a bit, but I'll just give you a little bit of a run through about the Gestalt theory. So it was created in the late 1940s as an alternative to traditional sort of psychoanalysis. So conventional sort of psychoanalysis. So so there was a very conventional way of doing things, and Fritz Perls, Laura Perls and Paul Goodman came along and reinvented the way we can do therapy and theories, and really had a look at out of the box thinking. It's really focusing on the here and now, and that's not to take away from any past experiences or any future experiences, but when we are looking at the past experiences inside of this Gestalt theory, we're looking at that, how that affects us right now. So we're keeping that focus on what's happening right now. So it's the basic theory is people are constantly evolving, and we are very intricately linked to our environments, and all people strive towards growth and balance. So I'm not sure if you've heard of person-centered therapy at all, but it's sort of similar. That's a very common, most counsellors and would use that sort of in all of their work. It's a very commonly used therapy type. And it's sort of similar in that way of believing that all people are striving towards growth and balance. It's sort of a similar sort of idea in that theory there. So the evolving process of us as people is what Gestalt therapy is all about. And so how we connect with our environment is really big in the therapy. And so that process is often called a Gestalt awareness cycle. Right. So I've got a little thing printed out here to show you. So this is the cycle of experience. So this is inside of the Gestalt theory. So we start up here with a sensation. So I'm going to just use a little example just to get you sort of thinking in this way. I know it's a little bit out of the box. So we start with a sensation. So let's use hunger. Okay. Let's say you have the sensation of hunger, right? So right up here you have that sensation, and then you move pretty quickly to the awareness of being hungry. So you go, oh, I'm hungry. Then you put some energy into actively going and finding food. Okay. Then there's action. So energy and action are very interlinked. So energy, walking to get food, action, getting the food, full contact, eating the food, and then completion is becoming satisfied with, your appetite has been satisfied. And then you have a withdrawal or a rest period after that. So that's the complete cycle. So that withdrawal or rest is you're satisfied, you can rest, and then usually there'll be another cycle or something. It can be the same with needing to go to the toilet. You start with that sensation, you move to awareness. It's really great this can also be used with many different things. So even with your situation at the moment, which is what we're going to come around to, this can be relevant for you as well. Okay. So where we become a little bit stuck, like it would be so lovely and great if we could just complete this cycle all of the time and all of our needs are satisfied and we want for nothing, but that's not real life because there are blocks. So we call them blocks in here. And so this is those things that we've got written under here. So we've got desensitization right up the top here. So let's say you have a sensation, but that doesn't even get sent to your brain because you're, for some reason, suppressing that. Right. So that's really often with, often we see that with trauma survivors. So they suppress those needs as a survival thing. We have deflection. So let's say you were hungry, but you were also at a party. So you had that sensation of hunger and you were realizing that you're hungry, But then you might move through deflection, whereas you turn off course because someone starts talking to you.
Right.
So that could be an example of deflection.
Okay.
And so then you're like, oh, I really want to talk to this person. And so you're still hungry.
Yeah.
So you're in this cycle of hunger, but you're also like, so being social is really important to me. And so that's actually a whole nother cycle because you have this sensation of needing to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And so that starts another cycle. Yeah. So then you've got these two that are sort of conflicting and you're trying to work through both of them. And it becomes a little bit tricky to work out, okay, well, which one do I satisfy first?
Yeah.
What is, what's the thing that I need to fulfill right now and what can wait? So then you sort of move through, under energy, we've got introjection. Yeah. So that's an unconscious adapting of others' ideas.
Right.
So it's others' ideas. So let's say we were chatting and I presented an idea to you and you sort of were like, oh, okay. And you started thinking the same thing because I think it. Right. And without even realizing that you're doing it yourself.
Okay.
So it's adapting, and we all actually do that to a certain point. We all adapt to our environment, which is important that we do that, but it can also be healthy to recognize when we are doing that.
Okay.
So then under here we've got projection. So projection is sort of sits in between energy and action. So it can really get in the way of that energy being put into action. So that's where we start thinking, what will other people think? Like, what will other people... So let's say you're hungry.
Yeah.
But you're worried about eating a burger in front of someone. You're worried about what will they think if I make a mess, or will they be listening for my chewing, and so you think you know what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
I saw you nod when I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
Just because I think about a lot about what others will think of.
Yeah. Okay.
Of me. So.
Yeah, and I really sense that in what you were talking about before. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, that was what I told you about the community, but I don't know, I also fear with Joey that if I don't move in with him and decide that these other things are more important, that he will end the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I can tell it's very important and he really wants to move into this next step. So I think that's probably a bit of, that's me thinking about what he's going to do. But that's also another fear.
Yeah, and so and that's exactly right. That's the projection that we're talking about in this cycle, and it does become a bit of a block, because what that is doing right now is it's stopping you in this cycle. You've got that energy, but you can't quite put it into action because you're getting stuck in the idea of what will other people think. And that is exactly what this cycle is really good at doing. Is it's really helpful to be able to see, okay, this is maybe where I'm getting stuck.
Right.
And it might be something that you actually find in many areas of your life. Like you might find that this is a really common place for you that you get stuck in before you moving into that action. You might find that you do get commonly stuck in the concerns of what do other people think, what are other people thinking. Has there ever been anything that Joey has said that would make you sort of think he would end the relationship?
Not like explicitly, but it's more just how much I can tell that he really likes, he would really like to move in. And I'd just be scared of disappointing him. And I feel like that disappointment could lead, if he feels like I don't want to move forward, then maybe he'll say, then if we're not going anywhere, then, then what are we doing? And that could lead to a breakup or of something.
Yeah, and so you feel like that's something that's really important to Joey, moving in together.
Yeah, but he's never said anything.
Yeah, so he's never really said anything, but you know that it's an important thing for him, and so you're worried that if you say potentially that you don't want to move in, or you have reservations for that with that, then you're worried about how that conversation might go.
Yeah.
Is it something that you've brought up with Joey at all?
I haven't,
No.
Just a bit nervous too, just because I'm still considering it a lot. But yeah, I know he is pressing because we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've always held back.
Yeah.
So, but now he's really, really wanting to move forward with it.
Yeah. And do you feel like it's a relationship where you can be open and honest with Joey?
Most of the time I am. I
Yeah.
think this is just one of the biggest decisions.
Yeah, and it is a big decision. I know it feels really big. And like we're seeing with this cycle, that's where you are getting really stuck. You're stuck before that action. And so the action could be having a conversation with Joey, because even that action can still help you come around in this cycle. And it might not even look like, the completion of this cycle might not even look like moving in with Joey, but it's that you've got this thing that you're not sure about in your head. It's this cycle that has begun because of a comment that Joey has said. And so in your head, the end goal is moving in, right? Or in Joey's head, the end goal is moving in. And so you're trying to, okay, can I adapt that idea for myself?
Yeah.
But the end goal, once you've talked to Joey, could even be just having a conversation with Joey and working out a plan around moving in. It could be something like, I don't know if I'm ready to move in yet, but maybe it's something we could look at in a few months' time. Or there's many different ways you could sort of go with that. It doesn't just have to be right, we have to move in. For me to be satisfied and be able to get to that rest part. Do you feel like there are any other options?
I feel like it's kind of either I do it or I don't. But yeah, it's just, we've been talking about it for a while, so I'm just scared if I delay it more, it would just, he'll just get mad at me or just disappointed, and I don't want either of those things. So it's tough.
So we're sort of about at that time where we're about to wrap up, but I just wanted to talk with you about, based on everything we've talked about today and your concerns, maybe setting a task for this week. What do you think might be your next step? Sort of thinking about everything we've talked about today, and what do you think might be the next thing that you need to do to keep moving forward in making this decision?
It'll probably have to be mentioning what I'm thinking about to Joey. Just being honest with him, and starting the process of having a conversation with him. So then I'm not just thinking about what he's feeling, I actually know.
That's right.
That's probably what I'll have to do.
And I think that's a really really great next step to take, and that will keep you moving. That's actually moving into that action. So instead of just sitting in that projection, what will people think, like you said, you're moving forward into that action, so it's still moving around in that cycle. So that's really great, and I think that it's a really great use of this cycle of experience as well. How did you find today's session? Did you find that helpful to use that cycle
I like
today?
that cycle a lot. I think it helped break down kind of the process that I was going through, and made me realise that pretty much in all scenarios I was getting stuck, not doing anything, just because I was preempting how other people would respond. So, I kind of knew that, but now I can kind of see the clear steps of how I can move on.
Definitely.
From that. So
Well, that's great, and I'm looking forward to hearing how your conversation goes with Joey. And if you have any concerns around that, please feel free to reach out and we can discuss it. Otherwise, I'll see you at your next appointment in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.
All good. I'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye, Corey.